In the freezing winter of 1918, while Europe was still burning in the fire of World War I, Russia made one of the most shocking decisions in modern history. A country that once stretched from the Baltic Sea to the Pacific Ocean suddenly agreed to give away vast lands, millions of people, and enormous resources to its enemy, Germany. To many Russians, it felt like betrayal. To many Germans, it looked like total victory. But behind this dramatic surrender was a nation collapsing from the inside, a revolution that had torn power apart, and a desperate struggle just to survive. By early 1918, Russia was no longer the Russia that had entered the war in 1914. The old imperial government had fallen, the Tsar was gone, the streets of Petrograd were filled with hunger, anger, and chaos. Soldiers were deserting the front lines, factories were barely operating, railways were breaking down, the economy was shattered. In November 1917, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power with a simple promise to the exhausted population: peace, land, and bread. That promise could not be kept unless Russia left the war immediately. Germany knew this. German armies were still strong on the Eastern Front, even while fighting Britain and France in the West. With Russia in political chaos, Germany pushed forward, capturing more territory and threatening to march deep into Russian lands. The Bolshevik government had almost no real army left to stop them. What remained of the Russian military was disorganized, starving, and no longer loyal to any central authority. Lenin faced a terrible choice. Continuing the war meant certain defeat and the possible destruction of the new revolutionary government. Ending the war meant surrendering huge areas of land that Russia had controlled for generations. Lenin believed that saving the revolution was more important than saving territory. Without peace, the Bolsheviks would be overthrown. With peace, even a harsh one, the new communist state might survive. So in March 1918, Russia signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. The terms were brutal. Russia gave up Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, much of Poland, and Ukraine. These regions were not empty lands. They were home to more than 50 million people and included some of the richest farmland, coal mines, and industrial centers in the former Russian Empire. Russia lost nearly a third of its population, a large share of its industry, and much of its food supply in a single stroke. To many Russians, this was a national humiliation. The country had not been fully defeated on the battlefield, yet it was forced to accept a punishment harsher than most losing nations ever faced. But the Bolsheviks had little choice. Germany was advancing, and the revolutionary government was still fragile. Civil war was already beginning inside Russia, with former generals, foreign armies, and anti-communist forces all preparing to fight the Bolsheviks. Fighting Germany at the same time would have been impossible. Germany, on the other hand, saw the treaty as a golden opportunity. By forcing Russia out of the war, Germany could transfer troops from the east to the Western Front and try to win a final decisive victory against Britain and France. The lands taken from Russia were meant to become German-controlled or German-influenced states, providing food, raw materials, and strategic depth for the German Empire. But history took a dramatic turn only months later. In November 1918, Germany itself collapsed. The German army was defeated in the West. The Kaiser fled. A revolution broke out in Berlin. With Germany's surrender to the Allies, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk became meaningless. The new German government could no longer enforce it. Russia did not immediately regain all the lost lands, but the situation changed completely. Poland became independent, the Baltic states broke away, Finland remained separate, Ukraine fell into chaos and civil war. What had been given up in 1918 was never fully restored, but it was not Germany that kept most of it. The collapse of empires across Europe reshaped the entire map. In the end, Russia gave up so much land in 1918 not because it wanted to, but because it was trapped between foreign invasion and internal collapse. The Bolsheviks sacrificed territory to buy time. That time allowed them to survive the civil war, rebuild power, and eventually create the Soviet Union. The treaty was not a sign of weakness alone. It was a gamble for survival in one of the most dangerous moments in Russian history. If you enjoyed this video, then like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel.